Yeah, for now.
What's this thing always in the middle?
You can move that if you don't want it there.
Oh.
If you don't want the table,
This feels like
you
randomly.
can put it off to the corner.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Christopher. This is Rodimus, Johnny, Henry, Miguel, and Ulysses. Today we're going to be talking about donating $1 million to our charity, which is Tech for Trade. Now, before we get into Tech for Trade and what it does, I want you all to think about a moment where you were just broke. You had nothing and you wanted something really bad, right? But you're broke. How are you going to get it? That's where 3D printing comes in. We got materials for cheap, and doing with these materials, it's at your home. You don't have to go anywhere. You go to sleep, you got that homemade gun that you always wanted. That type of thing. Now, I know that sounds cool and all, but 3D printing is a lot more advanced than you think. There are places in other countries and other places where they can't afford the proper medicine and doctor things that they need, the tools. 3D printing with our company, what we'll try to do is find, foster, and support sustainable and scalable technology, innovations that facilitate trade and alleviate poverty, which basically some in another country where they're broke and have no tools for it, we'll provide the tools and help kids in other places that are hungry and stuff. Because we can make food and medicine. Now, yeah. To get into the specifics of 3D printing, what 3D printing is exactly is the action or process of making a physical object from a three-dimensional digital model, typically by layering multiple thin layers of material in succession.
This is where your ice cream comes from.
This is not a part of it.
Okay, there we go.
Amazing items made with 3D printers. Guns.
Like I said about the guns, for starters, you can make guns at home. There are multiple things that you can use for 3D printing. For starters, guns, which I wouldn't suggest since that's probably the most illegal you can do at the moment. Transportation, food, and health. And it can go as far as, tourism. If you want to make money off of tours, and in certain cities, you can go to a 3D booth and you can basically get your own miniature yourself, modeled, and made after you. And that's how it looks. It's not that expensive either. I think it's like $10. So you should be alright in terms of that. Then you got health.
On the upside, researchers are printing better and better prosthetics for those in need. Some children have reported they feel like superheroes after getting their new mechanical hand assembled. As we progress into the future, the abilities of these prosthetics will reach a level that will make regular body parts inferior. Before we know it, the cyborg age will be upon us.
Yes, I don't want So, as stated before, our Tech for Trade company, if you donate $1 million to us, would help move our Tech for Trade company from the UK to America to make it more usable for more people in America and other countries. And we would expand our operations and make printing more local for people of America. And then we'd focus our attention on more stuff like health, transportation, food, weaponry, and yeah.
There you go.
Economics.
Let him hear it.
Alright, so the economical benefits of 3D printing. Mass production, reduction of shipping, eliminating shipping costs, reduction of prices due to fabrication costs. What that means, generally, less time waiting. For your package to show up, you don't have to wait that week. If you don't want to pay for express shipping, because you'll have it at home, thanks to the portable and prototype 3D printer at home. The only thing that you'll probably have to wait for would be the person that brings you the material. Other than that, mass production, everybody will have one, hopefully. In the UK, schools have already started using them, so if you haven't used it, children actually in first grade to 6 have started using it. With that, they're learning what the benefit will be into society. In the previous video that you saw with the prosthetics, there are over 4 million amputees worldwide, and with this, everybody will pretty much have the ability to have an arm, a leg, a whole hand if they're missing that, and like you heard the little kids say that they feel like superheroes. Thanks to that, 3D printing will basically be cost efficient. So instead of paying $1,000 that you would for a regular arm, you'll get it like half price or even cheaper, because then there's also medical expenses that are going to that. Clothing wise, you'll be able to print out the material right in front of you. You wouldn't have to wait that day. You would probably have to wait like an hour or two, but you'll have fresh kicks, a clean shirt, brand new fitted, mittens, cell phone covers, whatever you want, it'll all be there right in front of you. I think I have a video. I don't know if we can find it.
Yes, you do. It's right there. You don't mean
Shoeplace is an online 3D printing community and marketplace. Anyone in the world can upload their 3D model and we'll print it for you. And then also, if you decide you want to make it for sale, you can sell it and we'll produce it on demand for that customer wherever they are in the world. You can essentially bring a product to market with no risk. You don't have inventory anymore. You don't have to make sure that there's a market ready for your product. If you sell one, that's awesome. If you sell 10,000, then all of a sudden you have a passive income model that radically changes the economy. Usually to bring a product to market takes a year, and then you have to find the manufacturer and the investor, and so it's going to force us to change the way we think about not only buying products, but how they're made. One of our colleagues broke his stroller, and it would have cost him something like $250 to get that part in the mail from the stroller company, and he literally just 3D printed a stroller part and got it for $20. You have this explosive technology where everything is made just for you, but at the price and quality of something you buy in the store. This could be a scary technology for
like she said, it'll cost like $200 to get it from the brand itself at home, $20. That's usually because they have to like spend for the guy that's printed, melting it down, cutting it up, all the metal that's being used. They got to pay the guy that's doing it, plus the factory and all the tools that they're using. Thanks to 3D printing, it'll reduce that completely. So instead of having a big bulky machine, a guy cutting it up, heating it up, cooling it down, all this crazy stuff that's happening, you'll just literally stand there and watch it print, layer by layer by layer. That's pretty much how everything's going to happen.
Some companies, because what does that mean for seasons now? You have infinite inventory, and what does it mean for scarcity, which is one of the core tenets of so many industries? I think it's very similar, though, to social media or other tools of engagement where you're afraid to see what that would mean to let consumers co-create with you or to really rethink your traditional manufacturing process because you have so many middlemen. I think we just have to stop thinking that you need to reach 100,000, 1 million people for something to be successful. Customization is really changing the way that we have to think about design and production as well.
Yeah. There you go. And yeah, pretty much it for economical.
Now, the most interesting topic, military applications. As you can see, what are the benefits of this technology and 3D printing? Well, being able to make ammunition right in the battlefield, which is crucial for soldiers who run out of bullets. The bullets made by the 3D printing, shown in the pictures, they're 30% less lethal than real bullets made by metal. Right now, scientists have only gotten to lead bullets so far. And this means that each bullet will cost around 27 cents each, depending on how much lead is used and the round. For example, this one right here will cost a bit more. It's more lead, more expensive, around 50 cents. And being able to repair equipment on the battlefield, which is crucial. For example, a jam gun. If your gun jams, you're useless in the battlefield. You have a standing chicken. Therefore, with a 3D printer, what it does, it makes the part that got jammed or broken you can repair it, take it apart, put the new part in that you printed out from the printer, and it's working, good to go. Other things will be repairing radio parts, making parts that are really, really hard to make. For example, electronics with wiring, all of that. Tools for soldiers in the battlefield, and so on. Nameless things you can do with a 3D printer. Okay, what are the pros and cons? The pros will be manufacturing speed will be increased. We could do mass produce ammo, anything. The cost will be less for 3D printers have become, and they become cheaper and cheaper every year. Products can go from a design to an actual prototype in a matter of minutes, hours. You could do mostly anything. And the cons will be that currently 3D printers are limited in the size of right now, so not one printer cannot do anything. So you gotta do a specific printer for a specific thing. So that's one of the downfalls. And another thing will be that 3D printers could make dangerous items, for example, guns. Well, not complete guns, but just plastic guns. As of right now, we can only do parts. And knives. They are the only cons about 3D printers. Safety concerns. Most of you are more aware about guns, more than anything. Safety concerns. Federal agent says that they are too worried about gang members or ordinary persons getting their hands on this technology because they're mostly plastic guns. As you can see in the picture, 1, 2, or 3 bullet shots will damage the gun and jam it. Therefore, it'll be useless to use. And as I said earlier, it's only 30% less effective than a real bullet. So it's still lethal on fragile parts on your body, for example, your heart and your head. Meaning that guns are made from plastic, will soon get damaged and become useless over time. I said that. And foundations. In 2003, 3 scientists were awarded around $800,000, almost $1 million, by 3 colleges. These colleges made a foundation a campaign to raise for this 3D printing. Illinois University, Harvard, and Stanford. They're the top 3 colleges who made this campaign, and each college just made a campaign for each student or someone to donate for at least a penny to thousands of dollars that goes into this technology. Why colleges and other public? Because the military won't waste pennies or any dollars on something that will not work or won't they use in the future because it hurts the budget. So they look forward towards the donations. And yeah, that's about it for military applications. And that's me.
Okay, so transportation is a really important part of, especially here in New York specifically. Although we do have trains, but maybe one day we can 3D print those too. Up here we have what is the first 3D printed car ever, the Strati, made by Chrysler. And it is completely carbon fiber, so it's very safe, and it also runs on electric power. So it's good for the environment. And that contraption over there is actually a jet nozzle, which is the first 3D printed plane part ever. And right now they're in use. There's I'd say about 400,000 of them being used right now. And there are many pre-orders going up to over $1 billion on that part alone. And it's very safe because it allows jet planes to run smoother by turning their gas into actual propelling power. And now, aside from just planes and vehicles, there's also a bridge. I think, yeah, there we go. 3D printed bridges they're not fully here yet, but they are the future of 3D printing. Right there's a 3D printer that can actually defy gravity there, and it's going to build a bridge over the body of water in Amsterdam. And people are looking to upscale this even bigger to make models of bridges that will allow for safer building. They can build models beforehand, so when they actually build the bridge, they know exactly how to build it so that it could be safe for everybody. Next. All right, and here's a video. This is basically a video of the future of transportation and its importance.
My name's David Coley. I'm the director of the model shops and the 3D printing and 3D labs here at Art Center College of Design. We have a real strong tradition of transportation design. We have pretty much, I've heard, an alum in every major transportation design house in the world. Right across Europe, Porsche, BMW, England is Ford. If a company come in and sponsor a project, it could be for transportation, could be a car design for the future, 20 years out. It could be any of the big car companies. One and all of the car companies have come in at some point and done a sponsored project with the school. Our students will work for 14 weeks. They will create concepts. They will build models and iterative pieces. And then the end of that term, they will complete a final model. We primarily work in 5th scale, which with our 3D printing capability is great in the fact that we can print a lot of the wheels, a lot of the component parts for those cars. So Objet and the other equipment that we have will be used a lot for smaller components on the car models for 5th scale. We're not surprised at the number of companies that come in and we do tours and we take them around the 3D labs and around the shops. So when they come to the school and see that we have the Objet machine and other equipment, it makes a difference. It gives us an edge. An example of that would be a few terms ago we had the head guys from Jaguar come over from England, and they brought the new XR, I think it was at that time. And a few of the students were gathered around the vehicle, were looking inside, looking at all the stuff. And that was one of the questions that the students asked, how much of this was developed using 3D printing? And the guy said, most of everything on that car, the whole interior, everything was created with 3D printing. The product students, the transportation design students, we've got to set students up for real world experience. They've got to go out, they're going to be placed in these companies, and they're going to have to be really on the leading edge of technology. If they're going to go into places like Ford, Toyota, they're going to go into big design studios. It's going to be, they're going to have a lot of tools and a lot of experience under the belt. We're trying to get them prepared for when you go out into the real world.
All right, so a car like the more back, please. There we go. All right, so a car like the Strada in the beginning would cost about $5,000 to make itself, and it would take about 8 to 24 hours, which is a big time frame, but very short as opposed to how we make cars now. And though this is just a very early phase in 3D printing, as we go on in the future and get more donations and expand outside of the UK, all across America and the world, there will be the future of car production is probably going to be with 3D printing. There you go.
So health and 3D printing can really help out society today and in the future as well. Just because people get into accidents or people are born with, without limbs or have problems during their life, right? So, right now it's still in research, right? But it's been able to be more cost efficient for people to manufacture certain parts for example, a heart, 3D printed heart of a model can be well examined, and it can be researched very well before surgery, and that way the doctor is more confident of what he's gonna do and what he's gonna look for. And besides that, a lot of newborn childs are born without certain parts of their bodies, right? So they end up not having fingers or a leg, or there's either just a lot of body parts that are missing sometimes. So generally 3D printing can help out print out a certain area of your body with design and like well thought out things. You can receive that treatment at a hospital, and very cheap to make. And yeah, next slide. So this is a video on medicine.
The Doctor's Friday newsfeed, the supplement scandal.
How safe are they?
We buy them, we take them, and they're approved by the FDA. But
all of us who take supplements to some extent are putting ourselves at risk. Technically, anything could be in the capsule.
Then, the future of 3D medicine.
The first time ever, 3D printing saved a child's life.
And the moment they placed his splint, his lungs filled for the first time.
The Doctor's Friday newsfeed.
So medicine is also another thing that can happen with 3D printing. If hospitals have it, if they research it more, these can be accessible to people, and you can be examined in and out of a hospital and get your medicine. You know, it's very helpful, and I want to show you guys a case. Next slide. That's not it. Oh, I have a slide missing. Well, anyways, there's a case of this little girl named Maya Gonzalez that had heart surgery, right? Because she had asthma. So they had to 3D print her heart to well examine her what she had before the surgery. And the parents, they were a little skeptical at first, but when the doctors explained what it was that they were going to do, and they became more comfortable. And everybody wants to feel that way when they go to the doctor, instead of being frightened of like what's going to happen in case, of a surgery or anything. You don't want anything to go wrong or, die out of all cases. But anyways, they 3D printed her heart, and they were able to examine what was the problem. And when they did the surgery, it was around an hour to do the surgery. And usually doctors do separate surgeries because they have to look inside and check what's the problem, right? So when the surgery was done quickly, they were amazed, and a few months later, she didn't have any problems, nothing happened, so everything came out okay. And then in another case of this kid, Dawson Riverman, he was born without certain parts in his hands, right? So he was born without fingers, right? And with the help of 3D printing, a group of designers that are developing this were able to print out a 3D printed hand so that he could feel comfortable at school and be able to do things that kids that he couldn't do without his hand, right? So before he used to get he had an incident in school where he got picked at, but when he came into school with his new 3D printed hand, he was kind of the star of school, right? Everybody wanted to see his 3D printed hand because it had this really cool design to it. So it can help kids and adults. Adults usually when they go to war or something like that, they have to lose their leg, or a certain body part. And 3D printing has been able to help with that. Wish I had a picture, but I don't. And right now, people, they're still researching the idea of 3D printing an organ. Still in the process, and with the help of your donation, it can. Our researchers from across the seas can come over here and make it more accessible to people, work more, and that will be cool for us in the future. It can help out hospitals. Healthcare is a big thing. So if you wanna be in and out of a hospital, it can happen with 3D printing, because it can usually take hours for you to get treated or to get analyzed. And yeah, that's it.
All right. 3D printed foods. I know, this sounds weird, right? But let me assure you, this is actually very true, and it's happening right now across the seas in other countries. At Katja's company, which is in Germany, in their cafe called Cafe Grunor, they're the first company to bring 3D printing food to the consumer level. It costs about €5 to make their specialized gummies, which is roughly $5.60 in American money. It might seem pricey, but come on, it's personalized candy. Can't really go wrong with it. It takes about 5 minutes to make because they have to get the materials and gather the different ways that you want it. They can make little figurines. As you see, it's a little octopus. They make, it's very personalized. The candies that they make, they are gluten-free and they're vegan, but don't mix that up to believe that they're healthy. They're still gummies after all, and they can't hurt your teeth. Another company that brought 3D printing to the consumer level was a European company. Go to the next slide. In not Germany, in Europe. They print 3D foods for the elderly. As you see, 3D printed peas. And they have a bigger version of the 3D printer because they have to make it quicker and they have to pack them in specialized containers to ship over to the elderly people. The elderly people will prefer these foods rather than the foods they get in like elderly homes and everything, because the foods they get in elderly homes, they're like, mash type meals, which are much less nutritious and not as appealing as normal foods. So if an elderly person wants to eat peas, or if they want to eat like mashed potatoes or chicken, the company will make it for them and ship it over to them very quickly. It's called the European-Based Performance, which is personalized food for the nutrition of elderly consumers. It makes the elderly's favorite dishes and very accessible. All right. So we also have 3D printed chocolates in China. They're able to make little small 3D figurines for now. They're trying to make bigger figurines when they can, but currently it's just this. It's from the Bakota company. They call it the Xiao 3D printer. As for those that do not know, Xiao is the Chinese pronunciation for the word chocolate. So they're currently only working with chocolate in China, but they're trying to branch out to other foods. They're hoping for like a September launch to see how well these chocolates sell. They know that it's edible since they've been testing it, but they want to see just how good it is. And then I have one more thing. It's a Rova-Paste hybrid food 3D printer. It's a pretty long name, but it's a Canadian company that has started pre-orders for the 3D printer, which will make pastries, cupcakes, little candies and stuff for like parties and everything. Right now it's pretty pricey. They're started at $1,500 almost, because 3D printing technology is not as available right now. So they have to bring the price high so that way they can be able to still manufacture more while still making a profit. And the price can go as high as $2,249 because with the higher pricing, your 3D printer will do more different things, add more layers and everything like that. Right now it's mainly for pastries, but they want to see if they can earn like more to try to make other 3D printers for other kinds of foods. Next slide. Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
So, as you've just seen, as you've just seen, when donating money to our charity, remember that you're not only benefiting yourself, you're benefiting people around the world, and you get some pretty cool stuff out of it. Imagine being able to eat candy right from your crib. That'd be pretty cool. And remember that when donating $1 million, that you're going to be able to get all this stuff, and all you need to do is get the materials for it. So remember that. The future is now.
Alright, let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll come back with you guys.
Did it record?
Yeah, 19 minutes.
But honestly,
It did not record you guys because it was not at an angle.
It's okay.
So we're gonna have to like
do it again.